I came to New Zealand in 1994 after leaving Archangels. My brother and I arrived here to our new family. I don't remember anything from Russia, and so my first memory, as I would remember, would be my 3rd birthday. And I remember it very clearly. I had a lot of childhood friends there, friends that I grew up to know, and it was never something that I never felt any different. So my brother and I, we were both adopted from the same orphanage. We both have different birth parents, and his name is Andre, my name is Sasha, and Alexander is my middle name. And so people would often question my name Sasha and ask where we came from. And with my brother Andre, they would always question, are you guys twins? How are you guys brothers? And that's when it opened up the topic about us being adopted. And it was never something that was secret. It was never a big secret in the family. It was never something that my parents had to keep quiet or wanted to keep quiet. They were quite honest and they were open to talk about the story. They thought it was quite interesting. And so a lot of people did ask that when I was growing up. Going to school, I never felt like I was that person that stood out of the crowd. I didn't feel like I had to be the special child or anything like that. I felt like a typical Kiwi child. And in the 1990s, a lot of people did question about Russia, ask about it, they were interested about Russia. And my childhood, I felt like any other child. I was a creative child, I met a lot of friends. I grew up with a lot of memories of Whangarei. That's where I was raised in Whangarei. And a lot of things that I remember very clearly from my childhood. I'd always had an interest in television and cameras, and ever since I was very little, always. And so when I was 13 years old, going through primary school, intermediate school, eventually going to high school, I eventually got my first camera. And that was something that was amazing. I would film everything. I was always interested in that. Going through high school, I started to question about Russia quite a lot. I was always interested about my birth parents. I didn't know who they were. I just had the names, but I was always asking my parents about it. So I'd always ask them what they knew of my birth parents, what do they know about Russia. And I always thought to myself, I'm really interested about this country and I'd like to visit it one day. So going through primary school and intermediate school, I had a little bit of an interest of Russia. And I always thought to myself, oh, one day I'll look at that information and maybe one day I will go over there and meet them. I had a really good childhood, and I didn't feel like I stood out of the crowd. When people asked me about my adoption, I'd be happy to talk about it. Ask me about my name, happy to talk about it. And there was nothing that was really quite secret. It was always an open subject in our family. And so I thought I was a pretty good kid at school, if you're just wondering about that. I thought I did well with all my grades and all that. A lot of good memories, and I'm very thankful. So it was a good childhood, and I got my parents to thank for that, and always got my parents to thank for that. So thank you for watching, and I really appreciate all of you following my videos. You can subscribe to my channel, check me out on Instagram if you like, check me out on Facebook. I'm all open to any stories that you guys want to share with me as well, if you're adopted, anything like that. And thank you very much for watching. See you later.
All our people go off to school and we don't see them again unless we bump into them in the street. And then they don't say hello because we're big and we're wrongs. I won't forget. Won't forget, that's good. We like you to say hello if you see us shopping.